gifted.
Oh yeah, I've done that. I've gifted people. I collect Gillette red tips. And you may have seen those in the past, but Gillette's the blue tip. They did a black tip, and these were super speed razors, different forms of aggression. But butterfly, you would twist the red tip at the bottom of the handle, and the silo doors open up top to take the blade. And that, when I give someone that, I mean, it's form and function. It's beautiful. The handle design is beautiful. And then using it, they're sold right then. They're never looking back after. And I did that my first podcast. My co-host, he wasn't into wet shaving. He laughed at me about it, how obsessed I was about it. And then I gifted him this red tip, this beautiful vintage red tip from 1955. I gave him a brush and some soap, and he was just flabbergasted by the shade and just the whole ceremony or ritual around it. He was sold from that day on.
Well, you know what? It's kind of nice when I got a beard because I got tired of shaving.
Exactly.
Disposable. Yeah. But I used to really enjoy, seriously, is it that 10 minutes or 15 minutes to shave? And just, it was a relaxation period. So I'd sit there, and put build up the lather and put it on, like you mentioned, nice and warm. And then, just take my time and shave and then I didn't have to worry about the 5 o'clock shadow till about like 8 or 9 o'clock. I mean, that's how much better of a shave you got. And I just look at nowadays, you go out and you buy a $2 razor or a $1 razor. Oh, yeah. That's what you got. You got a razor. Go through the motions. Yeah. And you shave, right? And you don't even have a clean shave when you're done. So, I mean, and besides that, you probably got a lot of cuts. Or you or you do the other thing. You go buy this thing, it vibrates, right?
Oh, my God.
So if you have any hair that's gotten a little bit longer, like if you didn't shave 2 days, it's like taking a pair of tweezers to your face and yanking the suckers out.
Oh, yeah. No, it's ridiculous. Or those new vibrating cartridge razors, like that's new technology. We've actually, vibrating razors have been around for 100 years. You wind up the handle and it vibrates. Like, that's old tech that they're trying to repackage and sell to us. It really is. But yeah, no, we don't know what it's like. And then on top of that, there's so many great artists and soaps out there with all these different scents. I myself have so many different. I have some that smell like dirt. There's one I call dirt, and it smells like fresh soil. Another one I just really smells like fresh baked bread. But I have over 70 different scents.
Oh, wow.
Where you can go anywhere. Dark chocolate or whatever, or classic scents too. I like to reboot classic scents that don't exist anymore, as well as create my own that are really just, there's just so many scent options. So it's really just this tactile experience that you can really just, it is such an experience. Everyone should try it at least once before they make up their mind on it. But getting into it, the possibilities are endless where you can go with shaving. And it sounds absurd hearing myself say this out loud, but once you get into it, it's really a rabbit hole that you will tumble down.
Yeah. I really miss it. Like I was telling you, I all of a sudden, went to the store and it was getting harder. And we're going back probably in the early 70s. It was starting to get harder and harder to find blades. All of a sudden you couldn't find the blue blades anymore. You found the red blades and, and I'll be honest with you, they were crap. At least they turned into crap.
By design.
Yeah, and so, I gave up. I said, okay, the disposable razors were the way to go. So, hey, by the way, my son is here, and I think he has a question here to ask you. So, his name's Kevin, at least most of the time.
Actually,
Kevin. I heard you on some other episodes, I think.
Actually, it's just an input. I used to work at a grocery store, and I would stock razors a lot, and the prices would just be, it would be crazy, the amount that you would pay for just a cartridge or a razor. So people would come in and just take them off the shelf and just walk out because the prices would just be so high. Like, why would they pay them, So thank you for trying to bring down those prices. I appreciate that.
And granted, there are, there's dollar shave clubs and stuff like that coming out now. But my whole point with those is like, well, what is the point?
Well,
it's an inferior product.
But you know what?
How much you save?
They're still giving you a disposable razor.
Yep.
Okay, just adding blades to it.
Just changing the blades on it, but you're getting. I just don't. They just don't have the shaving capability of a regular blade. I don't. I just they're not that sharp. yeah, you might get a good shave one time out of it, but I don't know how, like the blades nowadays that you sell, how many shaves you can get off of it. But I used to go sometimes a week on a blade before we have to replace it.
Depends on the brand.
Yeah.
Depends on the brand. And when they cost pennies a piece, you can throw it out after one shave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that with the cartridges. You want to get the most out of it because you spent $3.50 on each cartridge, or however much it is. $4, 4 blades, or 4 cartridges probably cost about $25. So, like, you want to get the most out of it. You end up using it way past its life. When I was in college, I'd use one cartridge for probably about 2 weeks. Maybe more before I replaced it. So I mean, like, it's all disease and everything else. And again, you're hurting yourself. When I do a live lecture or whatnot, or a keynote speaking spot, I typically ask men in the audience, how many here think they have sensitive skin? And 9 out of 10 every time raise their hand. Practically every guy out there thinks they have sensitive skin.
Well, I tell you
right now, you don't. You don't have sensitive. You've just been damaging your skin for such a long time that it's all out of balance and out of whack. And the only way to get that equilibrium is to switch what the tools you're using. Use the right tools for this job because you've been using the wrong ones for such a long time. And it's not your fault.
Well, I tell you, I've been using disposable razors because I like to pinch pennies a lot, just for just out of habit. And and I've always managed to always cut my face when I use
more than one cut.
Yeah. And with disposable razors, always.
Well, you know what? I hate to say it. Most people, most guys in their 18s, 20s, I know because I have 24-year-olds up, and if you gave them a real razor, they wouldn't even know how to shave. They don't even know how to shave now. They get their can. They get their can, right? They're putting this cold soap on their face, right? And then they're running the blade under warm water and shaving. But my dad taught me when I first started, becoming a man and learning how to shave, get your face wet with warm water first, and then you put your, warm soap on it, and it just made shaving so, much easier.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like I said, at 4 or 5 o'clock, I didn't have a shadow yet.
Exactly.
And my
face
was smooth. It wasn't. I didn't get ingrown hairs. I didn't have cuts. And that's what shaving's about. Nowadays, it's just mass production. You go to the dollar store, get 10 razors for $1. What do you? And you expect to get a clean shave off of that? You're not going to get a clean shave.
No, and back to the whole conspiracy thing. When I registered for the civil service when I was growing up, as soon as I turned 18, guess what showed up in my mailbox?
Yeah.
A Gillette cartridge razor.
Well, you got to think.
The track too.
Well, you got to think of. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
No. Say that again, Ken.
Well, you got to think about this. Like, the razors in general, like, if they made such a great quality razor, just one of them, they would go bankrupt, because how would they sell the next one to the next person?
It's like cigarettes, you have to keep...
You got to keep mass producing them, and how do you get the next customer?
It was very innovative at the time when King R. Gillette, when King Gillette invented the razor, because the razor he wasn't selling the razor, he was selling the blades. So it was like a lost leader is what he was doing. That was by design. So, and back then they were actually, you could send back your blades and they would resharpen them and send them back to you. You'd have to pay for that service, but that's what they wanted to make. That's what they knew they were going to make their money off, was the blades, not the razor. So, but they did an excellent job.
Oh, yeah.
They really did an excellent job. I'm telling you, you can buy a vintage razor on eBay to this day that'll shave better than any cartridge razor, and just as good as it did when it came off the assembly line 75 years ago. They're built to last.
Well, how about, is anybody still manufacturing real razors yet? I mean,
I do.
Okay.
I design them and sell them, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, and I'm not the only one. There's still some brands that have remained in business or have been keeping the torch lit, like Edwin Jagger out of England, Merkur. Merkur is out of Germany. They've been around forever. So yeah, there are still companies that are doing it, and then there's new companies popping up. I've been doing it for the last 5 years. And what I've done is I've actually seeked out some really obscure designs that really didn't get much play back in the day, because Gillette was the big fish in the pond and would put them out of business. They'd either scoop them up, buy them, or sue them.
Oh.
And so I bring a lot of these designs back and I have them reproduced. And otherwise, people would not know of them, or if they did find them, they'd be paying $300 for this razor. So that's what I like to do, is bring back a lot of these older designs that people have never heard of, that are just these designs should still be explored.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be lost otherwise. And thank God the internet became popular in the last 10 years, because if it hadn't, I can only imagine how much of this knowledge and information would have been lost, because we've already lost so much of it. So it's great that we've just rediscovered this, and it's the way. And you're going to see more as prices rise, and shaving becomes more and more shitty. You're going to see a return to traditional shaving for both men and women.
Yeah,
that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think it's actually healthier too, because if you start getting ingrown hairs and then all of a sudden infections and boils from shaving, that's not worth it, And then on top of it, you get scarring and all this stuff. I knew one guy had like about a 5-inch whisker. It took him years to go to the doctor. He thought it was, I got cancer. This is a person I met at a lake resort that worked there, and became friends. And I said, "You need to go to the doctor." He goes, "No, this has to be a tumor. It has to be a tumor." And then I talked him in to go into the doctor. The doctor lanced it open and pulled out about a 5-inch long whisker. And he was growing not a tumor. He was just growing this massive ingrowing a hunk of hair, and that's because of disposable razors.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's what you're going to see. You're going to see razor burn, razor bumps, ingrown hairs. That all comes from cartridge razor shaving. That problem did not exist before cartridge razors.
No. And you know what? I remember when I was a kid, before I even started shaving, I'd say, "Hey, Dad, can I have one of your old razors?" I used to put like electrical tape on one side and use it for hobbies because the blades were so much sharper. So when you go buy a blade now, the hardware store, they're not anywhere as sharp as any, what you used to shave with. And I used to use it like for building little airplane models and stuff like that. It was really awesome and cool. I couldn't wait for my dad to take his blade out. I'd say, "Hey, Dad, can you hurry up and put a new blade in?" So, I'd sit there like wait weeks sometimes for, to get blades from them.
Blades.
Yeah.
Well, that was always the question too back in the day, is what do you do with these blades? And that's another fascinating thing. If you live in an old house.
Yeah, that little slot.
Exactly. The little slot in the medicine cabinet, you'd be dropping your blades down between the walls.
Could you imagine be a carpenter and going in one of those houses 20 years later, and there's like about 20 pounds of razor blades in there?
It's like Vegas, so instead of coins pouring out of the machine, it's blades, 100-year-old blades. And like you'll hear horror stories from carpenters and handymen about this happening all the time. And if you Google that online, you'll see pictures of it. But that's what they were doing with them. Or, I read actually this article that King Gillette wrote about what other things you could do with them. One was using them for cutting string or hobbies, what you were doing as a child. Another thing was actually for rose bushes, burying them in the ground because the iron content in them was good for growing roses.
Oh yeah.
So that was So imagine digging them up years from now. Like, oh my God! Like,
well, not just that. How about you digging them up with your hands, and all of a sudden what finger? Yeah.
But apparently they were dissolving. They were breaking down. But to this day, what I do with them is I keep them in a can or a blade bank, and when I'm done with them, I can recycle them. I tape it up and just put it in the recycling bin, labeled blades, or I can bring them to a pharmacy as like a biohazard, and they'll take care of them. But it's it's fascinating stuff, really.
Yeah. Hey, boy, this 2 hours has kind of like gone really fast, and I want you to tell everybody your website,
Sure.
and tell really quickly the type of products you have and how fast your shipping is, and how you can help them.
Super fast. I'm always available too if you have any questions or concerns, or would like to learn more about wet shaving. You can befriend me on Facebook at Douglas Smythe. You can also contact me through my site at phoenixshaving.com. And I have loads of all types of artisan handmade products that we do in our lab. That's phoenixshaving.com. And if you're interested in even starter kits, we carry starter kits too. If you're hearing this the first time, I'd like to get into it. Starting kits of all different types, shapes, and sizes, depending on where you are or where you're at when it comes to wet shaving. So please, by all means, contact me through my site or just stop by and visit my site. And you can also visit me on YouTube at I'dLatherBeShaving.com. Where, again, this is the show we were speaking of, where you're going to learn a lot about the history of traditional shaving. And I'm telling you, give it a chance. You're going to find it fascinating. And also, if you're in Florida this